I know what you're thinking, and yeah, I'm still doing these. I started it, so now I'm committed to it, so here we are. Welcome back to Season 2 of my Grand Theft Auto Retrospective. Before we get started, let's have a good ol' Season 1 recap, shall we? Grand Theft Auto was an open-world top-down shooter by DMA Design of Lemmings fame, that started its life as a multiplayer cops and robbers game called Race and Chase, before one of the devs discovered a bug where all the AI cop cars would just gang up and destroy the criminal car. The devs decided that this bug was so hilarious that they decided to just scrap the ability to play as the cops entirely, and change the objective from running away from the police to wreaking as much havoc as possible before getting killed. Some higher-ups overseeing this project were horrified with this sudden change in direction and tried to cancel development of the game, but were quickly reasoned with by the dev team. The game came out in 1997 and the backlash was massive and entirely manufactured. The truth of the matter is that when the first GTA came out, nobody really cared. The graphics were outdated and the gameplay wasn't really anything mind-blowing, so they called up a man by the name of Max Clifford, a PR specialist with some scary connections and an even scarier criminal background. I really wish I could go into deeper detail about the story behind Max Clifford, but I don't want to derail this video too much. But yeah, this was a crime game saved by an actual criminal. Pretty cool? Maybe? Anyway, the point is that good old Maxie helped Grand Theft Auto become a symbol of controversy and subsequently a massive success. Grand Theft Auto 2 came out a few years later to critical praise, but not nearly as much controversy or success as the original. By this time, the industry was already innovating, and gamers were gravitating towards similar 3D games like Driver. DMA, now dubbed Rockstar North, would have to change with the times. Enter Grand Theft Auto 3. GTA 3 released in 2001 on PS2, Xbox, and PC. Not long after the 9/11 attacks shook the world. After the attacks, Rockstar delayed the game for 3 weeks. Rockstar's New York office wasn't too far from the World Trade Center. Safe to say, this did not help office morale in the slightest. There were even talks about canning the game entirely because it just didn't feel right anymore. But they pushed on regardless and made changes to hopefully get rid of any imagery or content that could bring back harsh memories or offend those who were affected. So without further ado, let's take a look at Grand Theft Auto 3. In GTA 3, you play as Claude Speed. Yeah, that Claude Speed, but actually not. It's confusing, but GTA 3 is pretty much a reboot where the events of the last two games aren't really acknowledged. The game starts out with Claude and his girlfriend Catalina robbing a bank. They're both about to get away before Catalina shoots Claude in the head, supposedly killing him.
Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
Claude miraculously survives, gets arrested and shipped off to Liberty City, where he then survives a car bombing powerful enough to take out a bridge. Claude then uses this borderline supernatural luck as an opportunity to escape to freedom. From here, Claude's mission is to climb up the ranks of Liberty City's criminal underworld and take revenge on his now ex-girlfriend. From here, you're tasked with doing odd jobs for the gangs of Liberty City to try and rise up the social ladder. You really get this sense that you're on the grind, slowly building your reputation and gaining a higher social standing, and betraying anyone who gets in the way of your pursuit for more power. It's pretty neat. The missions in this game are much more diverse than previous games. May it be driving a certain amount of entertainers to a party, or stealing a guy's car, rigging it with a bomb, and carefully returning it for an explosive reward. Yes, burn! Burn! Many of the missions are also extremely brutal. You're going to be seeing the wasted screen a lot. The AI in this game is insane. If you're not evasive enough, they can absolutely immobilize you and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Heck, even non-aggro drivers and pedestrians can be extremely reckless. Cars will make extremely dangerous turns and pedestrians will occasionally jump right in front of your car, attempting either insurance fraud or possibly even suicide. With how I drive in this game, usually it was suicide. Just like in the previous games, as you complete missions, you also unlock more areas. The difference is that in this game, you can actually travel to the areas seamlessly without having to go back to the main menu. All you have to do is go over a bridge and you're there. Simple as that. We don't really think about stuff like this nowadays, but this is a big change that contributes to making the game feel a lot more fluid and alive. So all that's well and good, but let's talk about the controls. The driving controls are fine, if a bit stiff. You press A to accelerate and B to brake and reverse. It's all very simple, but it works. Although the new 3D plane gives a whole new danger to driving. For the first time in the series, your car can actually flip over if you're not careful. I swear, I've pulled off flip-overs in this game that put the car crash scene in Casino Royale to shame. That's right, Bond, I can crash a car better than you. Beat that! That being said, the shooting is a whole other story. You have to keep in mind, this game was made before Halo Combat evolved. That means twin-stick aiming hadn't been invented yet. And that means we're stuck with an Ocarina of Time style targeting system that barely works half the time. If you get into a gunfight in this game, you're better off just running away or hitting them with your car. Yeah, despite Claude surviving a mini nuke at the beginning of the game, he goes down super easily, so you have to be really careful when you're in combat. I mentioned a while back that this game feels alive, and there's a lot more to it than just a bigger world. This game oozes with world building. Just tiny things that help immerse you into this absurd world. Even the game manuals for the console versions are designed to look like little travel brochures. The game has multiple radio stations with real licensed songs, but they took the time to write and record whole commercials to help set the satirical tone of the world. Wanna guess what my favorite station in the game is? It's Chatterbox, the talk radio station. Because it's just so interesting listening to the zany residents of Liberty City, and it does an incredible job immersing you into this world, thanks in no small part to my favorite character in the entire GTA franchise, Laszlo. Inspired and voiced by Rockstar's very own Laszlo Jones, who sadly left the company as I was writing this script. All in all, I can't say this game's aged well, but I can't say I had a bad time either. Grand Theft Auto 3 is what I would call an unrefined masterpiece. This game was a cornerstone in modern game design that helped change gaming as a whole. Next time I do one of these, we'll be seeing how Rockstar continued to evolve the 3D formula in their next game, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, leave a like and become a pyromaniac yourself by subscribing. Until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.